Hey everybody, Mike Pfeiffer with Pfeiffer Hobby Supply. Today we're going to do the ACT3 update number 20, and I hope you enjoy it, and let's get to it. Okay everybody, the first thing I want to show you is the foam that I've stacked up for the lake area. I'm going to reach over here. This is not tied in yet, or it's not hooked down yet. It merely is cut and setting in there. That will allow me to take that out of there and do the lake and do some primary scenery, and then come back and set it in place and do the finish edge scenery so that I don't have to break my back over a period of time. This area where it comes in here and is going to attach here, of course I have yet to do anything there. I'm not exactly sure. Let me get up here and show you this. There'll be some kind of an inlet that comes around over there and into the lake. The lake will be approximately the shape you see here. There'll be a little dam across here. This will be scooped out low, going downhill over some rapids possibly, down into the river, which will be cut in there and go underneath the bridges and out to the river that we already have. So that is, so far, the game plan for the lake. I'm guessing that the dam might be an inch or an inch and a half tall, so basically that's going to take a lot of that height out of there, and I'll probably reconfigure the slopes there. Then on the other side of the river over here where my hand is, it's going to be a pretty good size incline up to match the incline coming around here. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do with those holes in the board yet. I have a couple of thoughts, but I won't get into that right now because it's not firm. So anyway, that's kind of how I designed the lake so that I can take it out and work on it outside of there and then come in and just stick it in place and then fill in the scenery. Now, you remember that we had plaster cloth on all this stuff here. Well, I've gone back and put plaster, textured plaster on top of it here. No ground cover or anything yet, and I've just taken it roughly down to the river's edge until I fill in the river. Whoop. About cut my finger off with the razor blade there, but anyways, fill that in and we'll do the river bed whenever I get that far. But let me step down off the stool here, and you can kind of get, this is at least my 5'5" eye level view of this area. I had extra plaster, so I went on around there a little ways, just a little bit. I have not put any of the bridge abutments or anything in yet, of course. But this is all just basic texture to get the ground scenery looking the way it should look. And of course you see the culvert across. Walk around this way. And go up, and you can kind of see how this all goes. If I stand down here, in fact, let me open the door of the train room here. If I can get it open, so that I can get down here a little bit. You can see down here how those levels of track change there. And the idea was not to be able to see too much of that. So there'll be foliage and trees and stuff that hide a little bit of that. And as we've talked about before, there'll be some type of industry over there. And in reality, oh, I did realize one other thing here. Once I cleaned this up and once I was putting all this texture on there, let me back this camera out a little bit. Once again. One thing I realized when I was testing the turnouts and so forth is this turnout I don't have hooked up, which I'm probably going to hook up to a push button. But I realized that I have no power in here because I neglected to put a power feeder right here. So I've got to get a power feeder in here so that I can get power to those tracks. those tracks are just set in there. I don't know how they'll actually go. They could go side by side. They could do just about anything whenever I decide what industry can go in there. And we've talked about that before. But you can see how I've, one thing that's hard to conceive when you're looking at the fascia is how I bring the plaster up to the edge here and make it blend with the edge that I've already cut into the fascia. There's no set in stone way to do this. I mean, I just, as you guys have seen before, I just randomly cut my fascia and I bring the scenery to it. I don't do the scenery first and then cut the fascia to fit it. The fascia dictates the edge. I found that that's, for me anyway, the easiest way to go about it. Now I'm going to try and back up here a little bit, and I'm going to try and get you up in the air a little bit. And now you can kind of get an overview of that, and then we'll do a little bit of a fly over here of the track that goes down into the yard. If my pilot can get his poop together. Anyway, you see how it goes down through a pretty deep cut. And that's the way I intended it to be. I didn't want that showing so much. And you hardly notice it's there. Especially when you're down here at eye level. You know, you don't hardly see anything. And once the scenery's in back here, this foreground scenery and that background scenery will kind of blend together, and you really won't even notice the cut there. So anyway, it's just a way of hiding what I'm doing, some of what I'm doing there. Like I say, just put a little bit of texture in here. Nothing else really new other than I have a mess here. I don't know where I'm going to start with plaster cloth next. Just to show you that poop happens. I had my train sitting here on the edge of the layout. And I grabbed my throttle last night to run the cleaning car around. And in the process of lifting the throttle up, knocked that B&O car on the floor and it flew apart. It's repairable. I mean, there's nothing broken on it, but it just shows you how stuff happens. And of course, it was on the place where the edge is lowest. Anyways, it wasn't supposed to fall off of there. And I think I've mentioned to you that I'm going to try to do these instant horizons in possibly this area and possibly that area over there where the shaper sheet is, and we've gone over that. So no sense in re-going over that. I don't know. I think that's about it for today. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the short update 20. I know it's not much to look at, but it was a lot of work. It's a lot of work getting up next to the track. That was another thing I was going to mention too, but I'll mention that in a second. It's hard to get up to the edge of this without dribbling stuff down the side of the front of the layout and having to repaint it all the time. So you have to be very careful along here with a small brush. And then I gob with big brushes on in the larger areas. You know, that's not a problem. But people have asked me, well, why don't you glue your track down? Because now I've got scenery up against this track and it isn't going anywhere. And then when I do the ground cover and then put the ballast on the edge of here and glue the ballast in, this track will not move whatsoever. Also, for the naysayers who said that the tape won't stick, once all this stuff is down over that tape, I guarantee you it ain't coming off of there. And it ain't coming off there anyway, but I'm guaranteeing that it won't come off at this point in the game. So that's about it for today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. And all the horny toads say, hope you have a nice day. Well, okay, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that kind of a short update. It's taken me, it took a considerable amount of time to put all that on there, all that, or get what I showed you done. But well worth the effort so far. And I've gone and like I said, and cleaned track and everything, and I've got the trains running again. So now it's just a matter of pulling the lake area out of there and doing what I told you I was going to do. And that's going to be a subject for number 21. But anyway, thanks for watching.